Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor here. I just wanted to address a lot of the comments in the emails and messages I'm getting. A lot of people are having some major issues through the summer right now with their sales. So I've addressed this. I've talked about this many times. It all depends on what you sell. If you are selling an item that's flooded, or you just didn't do enough research, chances are it's not going to sell very well in the summer. The amount of people buying in the summer is way down usually because more people are outside. Sales go up in the third and fourth quarter when the weather gets bad, when it's cold, when there's not as many summer activities out, when people are saving up for the holidays and things like that too. So depending on what you're selling, you could be dead in the water. I've had comments that people are giving up right this minute. They can't afford to run through the summer. They're not making enough sales. They're not finding enough items. Again, you got to spend a lot of time on this. You can't just think you're going to get away with doing this 40 hours a week to start with, and then boom, you're going to be rolling into major money throughout the year all the time. It has taken us years to get to where we're at. One thing I should say too is I would not be where I am at without hiring help. We've got many employees that work for us. My wife works for us. Our 2 kids work for us. Many of their friends work for us as well too. So without that extra help, I probably wouldn't be doing anywhere near as good as I am right now. So that's just an aspect of this. There are many people who are sourcing in the summer and they're just not listing as much as they should. There's a ton of stuff to source, so they're outsourcing. That's fine and dandy to get all the good items. This is the best time of year to purchase items to resell because they're plentiful and the cost is actually down. So when you run into winter, the price of items is going to go up. So yes, it's always good to buy them when items are cheap. But if you're not listing those items first off, that's going to floor you right then and there. You're not going to have those routine constant sales coming in. Another thing to think about, if this is your first year selling and you've only got 400 or 500 items up and you think that's a lot of items and you're just not wondering why the sales aren't coming in, 400 items is not much, especially if you're in flooded categories, if you're doing books and clothing and things like that. Again, there's nothing wrong with selling books. There's nothing wrong with selling clothing. I did both of those for a long time when we first started going full-time. It's an easy way into this. But bad drawback on that, it is a flooded area, both of those categories. Amazon's actually raised the fees for storage and FBA books, so we don't make much money on the books anymore. It used to be our bread and butter to the cheaper books. We don't do that anymore. We've moved away from all of those items. Collectibles sell all year round. And I've said this before, I'll say it again, that's a fact. Collectibles sell all year round. People aren't waiting for the summer to buy summer clothing or waiting for the winter to buy winter clothing or buying seasonal. Collectibles sell all year round. People collect everything. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. A collector collects, and if something good is up, they're going to buy it no matter what time of year it is. Sales prices don't go down either throughout the summer as well. For those of you in like my Patreon group, you've seen my summer sales. You've seen physically sales from just one of my stores, which are very good sales, as everybody in my Patreon group should know. So this isn't some falsity. This isn't something that doesn't, happen. Those folks who are on our chats and things like that too, you can hear other folks that are selling similar items that don't have the summer slowdown. You got to bridge yourself off. You've got to expand to areas that aren't going to slow down in the summer so that when clothing goes or books aren't going very well for you, you've got all these other areas to fall back on. It's part of the reason I do the videos I do, because it broadens your horizon on what to look for. Don't give up just because you're slow in the water. If you can't make your bills, take a part-time job if you have to. I mean, you got to keep yourself afloat. If you're not making it in reselling, get your feet wet, run part-time reselling, run a part-time job, whatever you can do to keep it going, because eventually you're going to get there, as long as you put in the hours and the dedication. Again, 40 hours isn't going to cut it for most people. We did 70 and 80 hours. I'm a workaholic. I get up at 5:30 in the morning, and sometimes we're not stopping till midnight. Yeah, I work at my own facility, my own time, my own pace. But of course, I don't have a boss. So I can stop, I can go, I can do whatever I want. I can have music playing, I can watch something. I can sit there and actually list while I'm, at the coffee table or outside on the patio or something. So I'm not confined. It's not the same thing as working 60, 70 hours for somebody else. It's all my profit. I'm working for myself. There's a big, huge plus for it. You have the freedom. But it's going to take the dedication. Sourcing all day long and then listing in the evening till you can't list anymore. That's what it's going to take. That's what it took me to do it. I have driving factors. I've got that vision to get me to where I want to go. I'm not going to let off the gas pedal. We are flooring it right now. Summer's the best time to list as much as you can prior to third quarter. You're in second quarter now. Third quarter is fast approaching. You got to get this going. You've got to get quantity. Even those who have 1,000 or 1,500 listings up, depending on what you're selling, that may not be enough to do it. But on another thought on that, listings aren't everything. If you get a ton of good stuff and you can list them and you're making great money and flipping them quick, you may not even need that many listings. But for the majority of you watching this, the majority of people who are reselling, you're going to need a lot of stuff up. You're not going to find those high dollar items when you're first starting off, for sure. You're not going to be rolling it. You're not going to, everywhere you go, score a $500 score. I know you see a ton of people posting all these videos and all the things they're getting it. And until you sell an item, it's not a score. So you can show all the score and haul videos you want. Until you've sold them and made the money on them, it's not a score. Again, I show my sales in Patreon and some other sources and places as well, too. I've got the sales to back up that this actually works. And of course, we've got tens of thousands of listings up, not just on one store, but on multiple stores, on multiple platforms, on Amazon and Etsy, Discogs, many platforms. It's the only way this works these days, in my personal opinion. Anybody telling you that's not the way this goes just isn't thinking properly, because you can expand out and double your exposure instantly by going to many other sites. We're in that process now to broadcast all of our listings to our own site, to many other sites, and to cross-list everything we have that we can physically possibly cross-list. That's just boosting our sales right now. As we cross-list, our sales are steadily going up. So as things go and progress, you're going to be able to do more and more things. You're going to see your sales go. But if you're quitting the first year, you're just not dedicated enough to get this going. I show things all the time that you can sell. There's free things you can get. There's things that most people pass up. You can make and create your own items. You can just do so many things these days. This is probably the best time to be in business for yourself, because there's so much opportunity on the internet. It's still like the Wild West, so to speak, on what you can sell across so many different platforms. So, I've buckled down. Even though we're successful right now, I'm not letting off the pedal. This is what you got to do. You've got to invest as much time as you can possibly imagine when you're starting off. Now, of course, everybody doesn't have that ability. You work with your own ability. So if you could only afford to put 10 or 20 hours into doing resale online, that's what you do. But if you're only doing reselling, there's no excuse for not doing 50 or 60 hours to get those sales coming in. If you've got a ton of stuff for backstock and you're just not listing it, you're going to have to cut it. Don't source as much until you get the stuff listed if your sales are being affected. Another mistake that most people make is they don't research their materials good enough. They're listing stuff that's just not worth their time. You're spending money on listing fees, you're listing things that you shouldn't be. All that is time and money for you. So if you're not researching your item, you're just throwing it up there to get listings up, you're just spinning your wheels. Having a bunch of listings is not the way to go. You have to have good listings. If they're not good listings, having 1,000 bad items is not going to get you anywhere. So again, good items, many items. You need a big bulk quantity to make this work, and you need to invest a lot of time. Having a vision and a reason to do this is another key that I personally find effective for me. I do this for my wife and for my kids. They don't have to suffer. They don't have issues or the wants for things. We have the ability to pay for things. Our youngest son has medical issues, so, I'm striving everywhere I can. So again, divert energy to where you're making money. Pay attention to this. Look at your sales. Look at where you're selling stuff. Look at the categories you're making the most profit on. If you're not doing as much in clothing and you're doing better in collectibles and things, start steering it to the collectibles. With the store we share with you, we only do basically vintage and collectibles in that store. We obviously do RA and other things, but RA in my area this time of year is almost dead. There's not many stores that have good RA items. It's a seasonal thing in some areas of the country. At least for us, it is in this city area here. So again, collectibles do not die in the summer. Buckle down. Invest in yourself. Invest in your own business. Invest the time that it's going to take to get you there. Don't just do 40 hours if you're not making it. Don't watch people's videos who are telling you don't have to work very many hours to get this going. It's a lot of work. Selling on the internet and selling online is a lot of work. It takes a lot of hours, a lot of time, and major devotion to get this, because you have no boss. It is all you. So again, it's possible. Anybody can get there. I started off at 0, as well as every other reseller you see on YouTube started off at 0. Anybody can get there if they have the dedication, the drive. You just got to put in the force. You just got to put in that effort to get there, though. But anyway, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gives you some motivation. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.